Good evening, Manchester United fans all around the world, and welcome to the Transfer Radar, the Transfer Done Deal show. And what a week of transfer it has been! Massive news to cover today, and of course, the never-ending saga of Victor Gyokeres. We're going to talk about that one because if you've been following me, if you've been following my tweets, way before the timeline, way before Ben Jacobs and everything else, on the 18th, I even reported that Victor Gyokeres will come to Manchester United despite Champions League football. We're going to dissect everything, but most important thing, we almost have a here we go for Brian Mbwemo. Second bid is coming in, and I've been told it's about 62 million with 175k a week. Sources for courses, and of course, we're going to talk about Rasmus Højlund bid in for potentially Inter Milan move. But whatever, I'm not going to sit here and waffle by myself. But guys, do me a massive, massive favor. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Smash that like button right now because I have a very special guest in the studio. A long time coming. The M&M show. We're talking about Mick and Mark. Mark, are you ready to enter the stage? How are you doing, Mark?
I'm chilling. How's everything going? Hope everyone is well. It's an interesting time. Of course, we've been talking about Manchester United in the transfer window and the possibilities for a long time. You know, a lot of people have been saying a lot of things. They've been going on this train, on that train, and sometimes you just got to be patient with it. You just got to, read between the lines. It's going to be interesting. I George Bukley.
Oh, you don't
I
read the
forgot
chat. You can
everything I
see
was
each other.
about to
Yeah.
say there. But big up to everyone in the chat. Hope everyone is well. Of course, we're going to talk about lots of things, including, well, Mick said it, Victor Gyokeres possibly
Yeah.
coming to Man United. Was he actually always waiting on Man United? We already knew that he had a gentleman agreement with the manager. And of course, the club to club had an agreement, £64 million.
Mm.
Let's see how it goes. Of course, we are seeing signings happening. Of course, everyone sees, how close we are to PSR. Mick, we spoke about it before. We were always about to have 150
Yeah.
million to spend this summer. People didn't believe us. We said it, but we will end up in a situation after those main signings that we will be sell to buy.
Yeah.
This is where Hoyland would come in, Garnacho, Anthony,
Ganacho. And
Sancho,
yeah,
Marcus Rashford. There's lots
correct.
of things and possibilities to be happening, and it's going to be an interesting situation when you look at the possibilities. There's many clubs and multiple clubs coming in for lots of our players. There's interest for Anthony, about 3 clubs, 2 in Italy, 1 in Spain. Same thing for Alejandro Garnacho. Of course, there's also interest coming from Germany. We will talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Big up to UK
Keep
Darren
that
fan in the
one. Keep
building.
that. That's my trump card there. Like keep that one dry because there's one person they're gonna save Manchester United this summer window for the outs. We're gonna talk about that. You can guys have a guess who he used to be a manager for Manchester United. That's just a little clue what's coming your way anyway. But Mark, are you positive that we are going to make a mark on this summer transfer window? I mean, we saw Ruben Amorim having his end of season speech. He said, "This is the new beginning." So he knows they've been planning. Of course, we've seen Matthias Cunha over the line. The January window open. I mean, summer window open. First day, boom, bash, announced. Here we go. And then we straight away went for Mbwemo, Brian, right? We submitted
Mhm.
45 bids plus 10 add-ons. And today, a second bid has gone in. And I've been hearing also. And there's another brilliant gentleman that you should follow called Transfer Dan. We've been quite accurate. We have the same information. It's going to be similar to Matthias Cunha, what they're structuring. 62 million pounds, 175 million, 175k a week base salary, but also installments in 3 installments. So if we're going to speak about how much we're going to spend this transfer window, let me just reiterate: it's never going to be like 100 million, 150. People keep forgetting that we are doing this in amortization. So the first installments, Mark, and everyone else in the chat, 20 million for Cunha, 20 million for Mbwana. That's 40 million already registered this year. So you still have what? How much? 60, 80 million to spend?
100 left.
100 left.
Let's say 100 because I think realistically we had 150. I think the bare minimum that we will not spend is 10 from that list based on amortization, as you said. It's being creative. This is what they have been doing that has been making the situations and these deals possible. It's one of those things, Mick, where you have to look at it from the perspective that, we could be in a situation where we are hitting FFP, but if we get the clubs to agree, whether we pay a little bit more than we the other clubs pay, I don't think that should be, a problem for fans. I don't think fans should complain because realistically, we want players, we want to get the best players, and if we have to offer 5 million, 6 million more, but we're paying over a period of time of 4 seasons, a big initial payment of 20, and then you're paying like 10 or 11 for the next 3 to 4 seasons. I can't see us being wrong with this. So it's when I look at the fans and some of them saying things, even if Cunha is on 200K a week or Mbwemo was on 200K a
Hmm.
week, I'm not bothered.
I'm not
Sancho
bothered.
is
No.
leaving. He was on 333K a
Yeah.
week. That's
Yeah.
both of their salaries basically in general.
That-
So
In
it's one
general,
of
you're
those
actually
things.
lowering down the wage bill by, getting rid of Marcus Rashford 350, 300K a week.
That's
That's
another that's
also,
another
that's another
375
one.
out the
Yeah.
door. That's
Yeah.
that's six something or 700K out the door. Lindelof is 120, 160 somewhere there. That's out
Ericsson
the
one.
door. Ericsson
Ericsson too.
150 out the door. That's a million K
Yeah.
a week out the door, guys. Yeah, and we're spending 400K now. Let's just say that per week now.
Yeah.
600 800,000 in 600,000 in the bank. Maybe, but it's one of those things where I look at it, Anthony could be leaving. There's also some reports that, I know a lot of people might not like this, but there are lots of reports coming in that it
Kobe
might be a
Mano.
more valuable sale for Anthony in the January window. It will impact
Yes.
FFP in a more positive way if we
Yes.
sell him in January as opposed to
Yes.
selling him this summer. And
But
there is
speaking about,
also some rumors that he may be reintegrated. So take it as it
mm,
is.
what I've been
It's just
hearing,
some.
and yeah, what I've been hearing is 100% the Real Betis president flew over to speak about it. They do have a sale within that it can utilize, but they're not willing to offer more than 30 million pounds, which is not acceptable. But then we have the trump card of Eric Ten Hag. Keep your eyes on Bayer Leverkusen. They lost the stars. We're talking about Florian Wirtz. We're talking about, they're getting big money from Florian Wirtz. We're also talking about Frimpong as well. So they do have 200 million to spend. Ten Hag coming in, and what is Ten Hag known for?
He wants his players.
Yep, he was the one that
And
brought
and
in
the
Anthony.
interesting situation
Yeah.
is it's your trump card, but there's about 2 or 3 players on offer at Man United that have interest from the former manager. Anthony is one. Jaden Sancho, shockingly, is another one because Leverkusen has registered interest in Jaden Sancho as well. Another one is also Rasmus Højlund
Yeah.
and Garnacho. So that's four already. And I can tell you guys, if there's an option, I don't think he would not mind taking Luke Shaw off our hands as well and taking him to Germany. I think it might suit Luke Shaw to go to Germany
Oh,
as well,
thank
in my
God.
honest opinion.
Or even, you can go even
Or you
to go even further. Go Napoli. Take Conte. He likes to take these old, washed out United players and make them to stars. So why not? It's going to be a busy sell window. But definitely Luke Shaw. He's been told what I've been hearing. You can find a new club. Andrew Onana also been told you find a new club. We'll talk about that as well. But now we were talking about the outs, which is very interesting. Another thing that it's not really a Manchester United priority to sell, but he is on the list. And that is another homegrown profit talent, which is guess who?
Kobe Mainu.
Kobe Mainu. Why? Because
Because
it doesn't really fit Amarin's system, right? We tried him as a number 9, number 8, we tried him everywhere pretty much. So he's so brilliant in tight spaces in the 6 yard box, but then he disappears for the rest of the games. Right? He hasn't been that consistent, right? So would you do that deal? I mean, if you're talking about Garnacho might be another one that Ten Hag will try to sort of lure over to by Leverkusen, but it's down to the player as well. Because Napoli is going to offer 40 million, scandalous bid. But what I reported this morning, 40 million is a pure profit, FFP, as Man United bought him for only 475,000 for Atletico Madrid. So that is an academy player that is counting like an 80 to 100 million on the pure profit PSR FFP books mark. So that is your money that will buy Victor Gyokeres. One of these sales would generate Victor Gyokeres transfer. Now we're going to talk about Gyokeres as well because I said it before. Man United before 1st of July, which is the new PSR financial year, can afford to trigger 40 million pretty much in amortization, which is Cunha and Mbwemo. Why are you smiling? Why are you giddy?
No, no.
Oh, you're
Some
smiling
people
because
just came,
Ange
so it's a
Postecoglou got
little
the
loud.
sack.
It's gonna be a little bit loud around me.
Yeah, Ange Postecoglou just got the sack. Breaking news, by the way. Who cares, right? Spurs will be Spursy. Daniel
Yeah,
Levy.
yeah. That.
Big up. Yeah, Dankeschön. Big up everyone that's tuning in. George Vocalist, class of 99. We have Neil Driscoll in the house. He says, Mark, long time no seen. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've been super busy. Ivor Lee in the house and sacked. Oh my God. Yeah, that is a bad. Spurs is a bad club, right? They don't have anyone. It's just Daniel Levy calling the shots.
There's a comment. There's a comment from Nas M87, right? I would like that one to be displayed. To be honest, I think this is very important. I think a lot of fans need to see that.
Yeah. Listen, let's me just catch up with the chat. So big up for everyone that's tuning in. Guys, do not forget. I know it's so difficult when you're watching the stream, but just finger that little like button because that makes a difference, right? Especially we haven't been live for a while. I've been super busy working 7 days a week. Spoke to Mark. Let's do it. Let's do it. Jarle Malmin, as per usual, coming in this Friday. Whatever you're drinking, guys, I'm having a chilled glass of Chardonnay. It's Friday, TGIF after all, right? Let me see who's in the house. Red Devils United, big up everyone. Big up Richie, how you doing? Kenny Fan Teamy. We have legends tuning in. Rajat as well. Ivory Lee. Who else do we have? And Paul S as well. Cunha, Gyokeres, Mbwemo. Man United could be attacking beast. I'll be excited for next season. Hell yeah.
I could tell you one thing I hope not to see is when I look at the back line is Emi Martinez. I mean, he might be better than Onana, but
Oh,
he's not really better. You know what I mean? It's we going from one bozo to our next bozo, in my honest opinion. I think we need to. I think I would like to take a turn on a young goalkeeper who is ready for the role in the sense of he's good with good shot stopping, decent with his feet, makes good decision, distributes the ball well, and we will work with that.
yeah.
I think right now, maybe we're going for a lot of experience in the attacking lineup because, like Nas was saying just now, we are expecting consistency from youths, and it's difficult because think about it. Man United this season for more than 27 games was starting a front three of players who are developing and we expect Bruno to carry these guys. You have three, four, five, sometimes six players starting in the lineup, three in the front three, one at wing back in Dorgu. Yeah. You have Ahmad, you have those Ahmad, Hoyland, and Ganacho. Yeah. Those
Hmm.
and Menu. Those five players have made regular starts this season. Four of them more than everybody else. And they are developing, and we expect them to be consistent. So big up to Nas 87 for saying that because I'm not saying that everybody must stay. Some players will have to leave. That's just how it goes. It doesn't work like everybody can't make it at United. There's
Yeah.
only 23
No, no,
men
it
in the
doesn't
squad,
work like
you
that.
know?
Of course,
So
I mean, this is Ruben Amorim lining up his ducks already, getting his two number 10s, which was very important for him. Why? Because they got abundance of energy. They can play multiple positions. And Bueno, he's super lightning fast, man. He scored 20 goals. And then in between them, Cunha as well. He can play more of a hybrid 8 and 10. This creativity. And then you have Bruno playing in the pivot. And all you need to add on is the striker, 100%. So let's
bro,
transition,
and Bremo
bro.
didn't have like 19 assists with those 20 goals.
Oof.
I
I don't
mean,
know. That front
yeah, I
three,
think
that front three will cook.
they will cook. And this is where I think now we might be in a situation where we could use a young goalkeeper who could be molded into the role, who's already doing good things, already being molded into a similar position, starting at his club. Someone like Mille Svilar, or maybe we could go and bring back young Radman Vitek because I mean at the same
Vitek.
time, let's be honest, he's very good with his hands and he's good with his
Mm.
feet. And
Mm.
I think it's not a situation where we need to be stressed about or frustrated about, because if the attack is scoring goals, bet your bottom dollar, guys, that the defense will defend. Because
Yep.
if we have
And
men in front scoring, we will be fine.
lads and lasses, we have some breaking news. I tweeted it out before the stream. Sesko has agreed terms with Arsenal. Sesko has agreed to terms with Arsenal. If you do follow me on Twitter timelines, you saw that on the 18th, I tweeted it out way before time. Who will be an Arsenal player and who will be a Man United player? And there was a picture of Sesko and, let's say, Gyokeres, right? So let's talk about it. Why is it so? It's very simple what you said, Mark, as well. Like, there's one player that Ruben Amorim told Sporting he had a gentleman's agreement. He will not rinse the club of his players. You saw that. What's his name? Quenda went to Chelsea, and then it went really quiet. And then there was leaks out coming up from the club that Gyokeres is too old and all that stuff. But that was just them keeping the distance away. But on the other hand, out of nothing, it came out from Florian Plettenberg. I think it was late April, to say the Man United have been in contact with Gyokeres all the time. Still no green light from the player. So that means what I understand from speaking from the agent's representatives is that there is a personal agreement already aligned behind the scenes, right? So Arsenal comes in some pushing hard, gets rejected. So they redirect the focus on Sesko. Then Newcastle tries, also. Then you go Chelsea, they go for Liam Delap, right? Liverpool, no chance. Juventus, no chance. And the stars are aligning. So what is that telling you, Mark? There has to be. I mean, I'm not gonna. Don't click me on this because I've been given this information that there is personal terms behind the scenes already, and Amorim is talking to his player. And Amorim said to the board, "There's one player that I want is Victor Gyokeres." And that's it. Now he was fighting with Wilcox because Wilcox was saying, "I want Liam Delap," but that was Plan A, Mark. Plan A was if we were getting Champions League, that means that we will get Gyokeres and Liam Delap as a secondary striker. But if Plan B, if we don't get Champions League, was get rid of Delap and still use Gyokeres as a prime target. So conversations been gone. They've been presenting the vision to the player. They've been saying, okay, you remember when Ruben Amorim was saying right after the Betis game, when he was asked a question in the press conference about Victor Gyokeres, and he directly said, you should come to play for the club, not for a certain competition. That was a direct pop to Gyokeres. That was directly directed to Gyokeres. Now, I was given the information that he will come no matter what because, A, Sporting has a very good relationship with Manchester United and Amorim. And, Gyokeres really respects Amorim for giving him a chance. And actually, Amorim made him the striker that he's today. So he's not really bothered. If you watched yesterday's video, which I released, was the total story of Gyokeres, because I've been following him from Brommapojkarna in Sweden, Division 2. He's a late bloomer, right? He wants to be at his peak of the power. He's just getting warmed up. So he sees Manchester United as the perfect opportunity to reunite with Amorim and make a legend of himself. So of course they've been talking about what would be the bonuses if you get us into top four and Champions League, right? Personal terms not a problem. 250, 300k a week, right? 5-year contract, and this 55 million pounds. It's only available for certain Premier League clubs, right? And that could be done in installments, in amortization. So, but in order to do that, Manchester United have been informed, and he's chilling, he's waiting. He's been informed that we need to sell. So sit tight. So nobody else is going in for him, which is very, very telling in a way, because why would nobody like Chelsea, Liverpool, Juventus, Real Madrid? This is 2 year in a row Golden Boot winner in Europe, high scoring game, and it's dead quiet. And everyone has fallen off the cliff. Only Manchester United are in for it. And there was another report also by, don't take my words for it, but it was another tweet reporter saying that Manchester United are the only club leading the race.
That's
bro.
interesting. In my honest opinion, I look at it from the perspective. I look at it from a perspective where I feel like, he's honoring that gentleman agreement he has with the manager. The club are honoring the agreement with Man United. Of course, we know Man United will spend money. If you look at how we structure the first signing and how we structure in this 60 million deal, which is 55, is 55 plus 5. It was 45 plus 5, but they didn't accept that. They said they wanted 10 more. United say we will pay the 10 more, we will add another year of payment. And they are saying part that you never know. We could be here now. Here we go before the day is done on Brian and Bremo because the players agreed terms. He already demanded that he would like to go to Man United.
Yeah,
So looking at Gyokeres, I think Gyokeres is saying if you all are giving me what I would like to have, I can come there and deliver. Maybe, Bruno staying is another requirement, because now
no,
you have four
Bruno
quality
was
players in that midfield. You have Cunha, you will have Mbwemo, and you will have Bruno. Then you have the likes of, whether it be Casemiro or Ugarte holding on the midfield, or if we get another player. And I think when you look at that, our midfield is very, very strong. And our team looks very, very imposing going into next season. And when you put a spearhead, what we needed for the last 18 months, ahead of that lineup, some of the youngsters who we had last season that might not have been great, yeah, starting week in, week out, will come into games 15 minutes, 25 minutes, maybe halftime. Maybe some might start to give other players a rest and they will perform because now they have a barometer. They have a player, a mark that they need to make, that they know if they reach that benchmark, they're at the level that they need to be. And Man United fans should be very excited about this. I think
yeah,
last season is not a barometer for a lot of the young developing talent that we have. Whether Hoyland goes or stays, no one should care. What we should care about right now is Victor Gyokeres coming in at all costs, no matter
yeah.
what.
Man, I totally
Once
agree
those
with you because
three
Ivor Lee is
players
saying
come in, I think everyone should be excited.
yeah, I agree with Ivor Lee because Gokers is coming into his prime, his pomp at the moment, right? So there's plenty of time to get Champions League football. It's not that you were sort of privileged with Champions League football. The way he was struggling coming from Division 2 in Sweden, he got sold to Brighton, never got utilized, got sent on to loan to Germany in Division 2, and then to Coventry. And it was basically in Coventry when he had the manager that sort of believed him in. They saw a rusty but a determined monster, right? And the rest is history. He went to Ruben Amorim, and Ruben Amorim believed him in and developed into the striker that he is today. Right? But the thing is, he's a perfect plug and play. So it's all about ability, agility, and also, hey, adding on. If he scored about 40 goals, you know, 40 plus goal in Portuguese league, he definitely would score bag 20 goals in the maiden season. I believe so. And then you add on Cunha, 15 goals. Then you add on Mbwemo, potentially 20 goals. Ahmad, Bruno, bro, that's frightening.
Well, you had to look at it like this. We have players that before the season needed to go. Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, even let's say Anthony falls into that category as well. A Luke Shaw. I would even put a Mason Mount in that category. So for me, fans, we need to chill. Players like Garnacho and Hoyland, they we have time. Yeah, we have other players
Yeah,
that need to leave first. What I mean? We have
but
to be
you gotta
strategic.
also you gotta ask the question: why did Ruben Amorim all of a sudden in January force Rashford out? Why is he forcing Garnacho out? Why is he forcing certain players that Man United fans want? Because he's making way for better. He's making way for Gyokeres. You see, you're right, Jamie Vane. I've been saying that for quite a while that he's coming, but I cannot say 100% because anything can happen in football. It all depends on Man United's finances, which, by the way, was released the other day, and they are doing reshuffling. Which is congratulations, Jason Wilcox is now the sporting director, and Sir Dave Breswell has moved on to be more of a cycling expert, and thank God because his role was all about cutting down the costs. So now we only have footballing people in charge, making decisions, right? So
Mhm.
Victor Gyokeres from Hardometer, what we're hearing right now, what I've been hearing, I mean, Man United could only be mugs to mess it up, but it all comes down to who will they sell. I think the closest to sell is Garnacho, I would say, Inter Milan. They've been at it since January. They want him. Or we have potentially Eric Ten Hag. Or is there somebody else that might be interested in Chelsea?
There's Napoli interested. There's Atletico Madrid as well. There's Bayern Munich registering interest currently. There's a host of clubs. Even Aston Villa are said to have been in talks with Man United over a possible deal for Alejandro Garnacho. Now, that is a situation that I would, if that is the situation, if Amorim doesn't want the player, then it's time for him to go. I'm not going to sit here and say we need to keep him at all costs. It's the same thing with Hoyland. If Amorim does not need him, then it's time for him to go. It's the same thing with other players as well. As long as the manager has no use for a player, it's time to go. However, there's some situations where I look at it from a perspective and say that a player like Mbwemo coming in, players like Cunha coming in, Gyokeres coming in, will bode well for young players, especially like Ahmad, because Ahmad is going to be the understudy to Mbwemo. You know what I mean? Xerxes going to be backing
Yeah.
up Cunha, you know, and we need someone to back up Gyokeres. Now, look at it from this perspective. A lot of people would say they would like to see Chido Obi, but they will be destroying Chido's Obi progress as a footballer and development as a player by pushing him into the first team because he's not ready. You can see it from his performances
Mm.
when he comes into the first team. Not because Hoyland has been having a poor season means that the little bit that Chido has done means that he is ready for the fight. He is not. And you
No.
need to give it a break, guys. I mean, these young guys, of course, we would like to push them as far as possible. Of course, he has a lot of potential. He could be a generational striker, but we need to take these guys' development seriously and be patient with them. Because at the
Okay,
end of the
but
day, you don't want to end up in a
yeah,
situation with a player who
100%.
plateaus at 20 years
No,
old.
hundred
You know what I'm
percent,
saying?
100%, 100%. I agree with what you're saying. If you look at Brian Mbeumo's heat map, he can play in the middle, he can play as a right wing back, and he can play as a winger. Number 10. He's such a versatile player, right? That's the thing. And same thing with Cunha. He can also play like as a number 9. But however, if you noticed that the transfer profiles we are looking at is more seniors. We're looking at 25, 26 year olds, right? Adding on maturity, right? Gurk 26, and Mbwemo 25, Cunha 25 as well, right? So that's more a little bit more senior. And it's better than, I think that the younger players will come in, the cheaper younger players will come in at the end of the window, right? But it's clear and obvious what Man United is trying to do. Fix the goal
I mean,
situation and
I
creativity.
think so. Fix the goal situation. Also bring some experience into the team. You know, Mick, I think a lot of last season, we was expecting young players to lead a line and to finish and be consistent, just like an experienced player who's in their pump and prime. And we forget this is supposed to be the best and most difficult league in the world, the Premier League. And we're expecting 19, 20, 21, 22 year olds to do a job that a guy who's 24,
Yeah,
25, 26 was
true.
doing consistently. And yeah, while we expect the best at Man United, we have to also be considerate for the fact that
Yeah.
we as a fan base deserve the best, but the club has to make decisions that reflect that. And last season they let us down. Yeah, the club let us down. They let the players down, and this was what they did. You see that marginal Gales thing? Big up to Paul S with that super chat.
Yeah,
Mick,
big
you
up
should bring
super
it up
chat coming
one
in from a
time.
super chat from Paul S from USA. How you doing, Paul? Long time no speak, and I apologize because we haven't been live for a while. It's been crazy. I was on the Asian tour, but can you read the super chat? Do you have your glasses on?
Of course, with Braille phones out, I never want to hear marginal gains again. That stat I want to see is a positive goal differential. Paul, big up to you, broski. And
Big
I
up.
feel
Thank
the
you so
same. I
much.
think that marginal gain situation was just a bunch of bull. Because at the same
Bullshit.
time, people might be mad at me for saying that. At the same time, I will say it like this: it has never brought any success in any of their sporting ventures. So
Never.
when is it going to be successful?
No,
We're
but
still
you,
waiting for
you,
that.
you, you got a point. You got a point. Look at all the sporting ventures they've been involved with David Brailsford, the cycling, the Grenadiers, the Mercedes, everything. Failure. Yeah. He coming here talking about
Yeah,
marginal gains. No, it was never about marginal gains. It was all cost. It was all optimization, cutting down Manchester United staff in half. everything in half, being stingy just to save a little bit margin. That's marginal gains, performance management. So big up, Paul. Big up. Thank you so much. And I believe it. I believe we'll be better without this snail's word.
Yeah, I
Marginal
think there's
snails.
going to be a lot of situations that, will change. Of course, we've seen our aggressive Man United in this window. So if you ask me, I think United is going to have a positive window so far based on what I have seen. I'm not going to sit here and say, yo, we're not doing things. This is unnormal. Man United sign a player in the first week of the transfer window. Who would have thought that? It doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
So, and then they,
Yeah.
they move, they pushed right on to number two, and they're pushing on number three. Guys, I don't know what to say. I can't say that I'm not excited by this front three. I have to say that I am. I'm just really casually cautious about it because I want to see it come in so I could go all the way over the top about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a
Guys,
situation where we needed this.
yeah. Well, here's this guy that you're going to look after. That's the guy that we want. And keep your eyes on it. 100% right, Mark. 100%. Keep your eyes on the price. Because I believe that this window is now closing 10 days. Then we have the World Cup. And I think that Mbwemo will be announced before the 10th. And then we move on. We have a break. You can't really do transfers. But you can speak to agents. You can speak to a lot of, you can line up everything, and I believe that in 1st of July, you will hear, like, here we go for potentially Victor Gyokeres and many other targets. Now, another target
Uh,
that
you
I.
know,
Hmm?
but before you say that, I just wanted to give my prediction. I think we're going to have here we go for both of them by the 10th. I think Man United wants to make a statement, especially Jason Wilcox. And if I know that guy because I saw him play, he's a guy that likes to make a strong statement.
But
And
it's.
I think being his first season as DOF, promoted DOF right now, he is going to make
Well,
sure and get this done.
Well, I had a press pass in Asia, and I was speaking to a lot of Manchester United backroom staff. And what they told me was that the Ineos camp, they feel like massive letdown. That was egg faced. They never expected to finish 15th, 16th in the league. So they just want to pay it back to the fans with all the cost cuttings to do sort of massive windows. They've been juggling planning. So they want to make a statement. They want to be massive statements. So, but is it feasible? Because I think that at the end of the day, you need to get sales out after Mbwemo. That's what I've been told,
Well,
right?
if you think about it like this, if we pay 20 for Cunha and we pay 20, let's say we pay 25 for Mbwemo, that's 55. And we drop 70 on Gyokeres, that's 125. And then we do sales. We do sales.
Yeah. Well, anything is possible, but
We
I
secure
just
the
believe
most
that
important signings, give the fan.
yeah,
And
but
you know what?
because
The-
there was a report coming out today that we are not so bad in PSR and FFP. It was pretty much a bullshit lie, so we are pretty much good.
You need to look at the stats properly. The stats says we have a 141 million limit, right?
Yeah, but
We
we had a little bit
spent
of problems with
we
cash flow.
You're right. We spent 20 million, so we're now at 121 million limit, right? If we spend another 20 million, we have a 100 million limit, right? This is how it works, right?
Yep.
And for me, the reason why I'm saying this is because I don't know if you know, Mick, but the new kit, the third kit, launches first, right? And the new third kit
Oh, the yellow one. Oh.
is the black kit reminiscent of Cantona
Ah. Oh.
2005, if I'm correct, and 2006
Oh.
season,
Hold.
oh five oh
Hold that
six,
thought.
the black
Hold that
kit.
thought.
And
Hold that
this
thought.
is why I'm saying Gyokeres 9
Oh.
in that kit to launch it.
No, but listen,
I'm
this
sorry.
this
I'm
this
sorry.
reminds me of 1992. Who did we sign there? There was a transformative signing.
1992. Wasn't that, who was that?
You just
That
said
was
it,
no.
Cantona,
Cantona.
Cantona,
Cantona.
and that made a difference. So I'm not going to get giddy, like, in terms, if we get this player over the line, this is going to be a transformative signing. This is going to be a massive statement. And trust me, everyone that thought that who was the best striker in the world would say he's shit because it comes to Manchester United. They're going to be salty. So all of a sudden he's going to be shit. But however, adding Gyokeres to the team with already Mbwemo and also Cunha, that's a top four.
I wouldn't say that just yet.
Oh, and the
Teams are
goalkeeper.
strengthening themselves. Man City has spent what 250 million or 300 million already in the transfer window. Big up to Abdullah Irwan and big
Big
up
up
to everyone in
everyone.
chat. I think Cunha has took the number 10 off Rashford. Yes, that is true as well. But I think they want to launch this kit with a bang, and the only
Yeah.
thing could launch this kit with a bang is Gyokeres 9. I want
Yep.
everybody in the channel,
Yep.
anybody in the chat who watching right now, get in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are. The third kit is launching next week. Yeah. What do you think? Who do you think is going to be the front liner for that third kit? Because this is the only thing I could think about. This is why I think we're moving the way we're moving so hastily the last couple of days, because we need a like a big surprise for the fan base. We need the fan base to
It's not.
boom. Yeah.
It's not only
While
that. We
because we're
need
not in
to.
the Club World Cup, you know?
No, we're not, and also we want to get all the players in so we can go and have a preseason tour, not at the end of the window, or not like by the close while the Premier League starts, because they really, really want them to be integrated with Amarin's system. If we win a couple of games, the first three games, the confidence will be there, with the team, and we go on a winning streak. So that is crucial. That was the mistake of Ten Hag in the past 2 seasons. We dilly dallied, we got players in late, and by the time we got him in, we lost three games in the Premier League.
Paul S. I like that comment, but I feel like maybe we could give that to Mbwemo. Yeah. I think
You mean this
Mbwemo could
one?
carry that. Paulus,
Okay,
what we giving Gyokeres is 9. Bagsman, the number 9, like a Beretta. That's the guy we giving that number 9 to, because, it just makes sense. He is a bullet train. Yeah. He is a force to be reckoned with. And that is the guy that is going to put numbers up. Now, guys, he's coming from Portugal. He did have a 60-goal season last season, but realistically, let's say we divide by two, he's probably still gonna get 30 goals all comps next season. Yeah.
this
I'm not
guy,
saying he's gonna
that
score
guy.
30 goals only in the Prem. Maybe in cups as well, he might have goals.
All
Yeah,
right,
but class of
guys.
99, Monk doesn't deserve that shirt,
Hmm,
broski.
Bruce.
And I
Okay,
heard
no,
some
guy.
rumors that Mason Mount might be moving on to Germany, but we will.
By
It's not
Leverkusen
Leverkusen.
again.
Let's just get that out of
No,
the way. Yeah. There's two teams in Germany that are heavily interested in Mason Mount. One is Leipzig and the other is Bayern Munich. So I'll say that
let's
right
go.
now.
Let's
Yeah.
go. And
I
while you
hope.
at it, people, and while you at it, please remind you, smash that like button. That looks like that. Smash that like button. Like and like you, like you, like. Cool. Another one, a money grabbing. Was never in for Man United is Victor Gyokeres. He's off the table. Man, he rejected Saudi. I think it was mega bucks. And how is, I don't know. What's going on, man? I thought he wanted Saudi, but apparently that deal has collapsed, according to Ben Jacobs.
Ooh,
And
oh,
then
Victor Osimhen.
Osman, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The other
Osimhen.
Victor.
No, well, you see, I
He
don't
only
know.
wants
Like,
money.
I'm not the hugest fan of Victor Osimhen, but what I would say is that I think he's a guy that wants to compete. I think he's a guy that would like to compete at the highest level for as long as he could. And
I think he's more
I didn't
interested in
see
the
him going to
Benjamins.
Saudi. For me, going to Saudi is a situation where you're going to retire. Yeah. And I could only say it like that for now, because Saudi is not the most competitive league. It's not ranked up there just yet. You're going there to bring the level of the sport up there and get that league up to a higher level. And that is going to take some time. I
Yeah,
believe,
but bro,
Mason Mount might be growing on you, bro. And
but
I know you'll be mad at me, but that's the first play I would love. I promise you, I would love to see this guy walk out the door. I'm promising now. It's something,
uh,
because the number 7 shirt has never been so low in my life. Yeah, since this guy has done that shit. That's
yeah,
just my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. But the thing is, if I stick on Victor Gyokeres, no, there's two Victors. Sorry, Ozyman, right? There was a report saying that Fenerbahce are going all in to give him the money, right? Gives me the money, and then you ask the question: why is nobody top club going for him, right? because they don't want to pay that. He's demanding a high wage. For me, that is a big no-no. Yeah, he wants 700K a week. Forget about it, right? Forget about those days are over, right? Now, certainly he will fit in the system, but I don't want to play it like we're done with these money merchants, right?
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean,
good luck,
like to
Aussie.
be honest, I don't think about it like money merchants, yeah, in a way. I mean, I just think, for the top quality players who want to do it week in, week out, they need to get paid top dollar. If we're not going to do it, someone else is going to do it. And realistically, if we are the second highest earning club every single year, some years we are number one, and the only the club that eclipses us is Real Madrid. So I wouldn't be too worried as fans. Of course, the club wasn't managed the best way over the last 20 years, but with what they have been doing in the last 18 months, we are
All right.
definitely on the right track in terms of managing the finances. So I wouldn't stress.
Yeah, UK Darren fan is coming in with a comment. Surely we can't be selling Maino with Ganacha going. Well, you never know because how are we going to raise fund to build a better squad? And that's what they're looking at, right? Is Maino good enough for Amarin's system? Is Ganacha good enough for this system? They're wasted in the systems. They're looking in that way as well, right? If you want to build a better squad, you got to sacrifice certain players. And these players are homegrown talent. So I don't mind them doing it, my personal opinion, as long as you get in system players that will take you to the next level, right?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, and you wouldn't have to make sacrifices. I just look at it from a perspective how you make these sacrifices. Maybe we sacrifice Menu. I could understand Menu being sacrificed. I would not want to see it. I think he's a generational talent, but I could understand it. I don't think he will go to Chelsea. Maybe he might leave the Premier League. Of course, we
By
know who gave him
Leverkusen.
his debut, and we know Leverkusen is looking for a star midfielder to replace their star midfielder that they just sold for
Mm-hmm.
100 million and 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things. Maybe it might be Leverkusen. We know he has a good relationship with Ten Hag, just like Garnacho. There could
Yeah,
be some
but
changes. It could
Verts
be other
left.
clubs coming in for Menu. Bayern Munich is also interested. There's also Aston Villa. Aston Villa is interested in quite a lot of our players, including Chelsea as well. So I would say it like this: for every player that we sell in certain positions, we need to replace. Are we going to have the
Yeah,
time in this window to replace them all? Of course, there are some positions I think we could fulfill with some youth players being promoted, maybe 1 to 3. But realistically, we're going to need a strong showing from this structure right now if they're going to sell players like Menu, Garnacho, and another player in the squad there, like Hoyland. They're going to have to get a replacement. Chido Obi
yeah, yeah.
cannot be the second string striker to Gyokeres.
No, no,
It
no,
would be
no.
good if
But
he's number 3,
okay,
playing in the Carabao Cup every week,
okay,
but
guys. There's so much news to talk about. We can go for hours and hours, but we don't simply have the time. Is Gurkers taking Rasmussen number 9 shirt? Mark, according to Yola, is asking you the question.
yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
believe so. I believe he will be given another number. Maybe he might get 19. You never know. And
Yeah,
Gyokeres will be done in the 9. But I think that's what's going to happen. I've heard
yeah.
some talks, I've heard some rumors, and what I've heard so far it seems like, it might be a situation where the number 9 will be Gyokeres and maybe number 19 might be Rasmus. We'll see how it goes.
I need to start vaping. Yes, sir. I'm vaping. Yep. Listen, at the end of the day, how did this come up, this comment? Yeah. Anyway, big up for everyone. We need a massive squad next season. Yeah, 100%. That was a big comment. You need to stop vaping. Listen, Fabrizio Romano came out today and confirmed it that Rasmus Højlund remains high on Inter Milan's list of targets as exclusively revealed in May. Is there a chance and possibility that he goes to Inter Milan, to Italy? Or will Eric Ten Hag take him? So there's two options there. Because
There's
Verts is
three.
going.
Real Madrid, Zabi Alonso is very interested in having him on loan. So there's three
Mhm.
options. People might think it's rubbish, but you can go check Florian Plettenberg, who has reported that along with the fact that the Woods deal has been done, it's a done deal. The Frimpong deal has been a done deal, and there might be some movement with Zabi Simons, who is now we are waiting to see where it goes. There's rumors that he has been talking to a Premier League club.
Hmm.
I'm hoping it's Man United, but you never know who it could be. It could be Sport. It could be Spurs. We don't know who Spurs' new manager is. I've been hearing in Germany that it might be a German coach, but let's see how it goes. Guys, it's been
Yeah,
a pleasure.
result is good.
Mick, it's been a treasure. I hope you guys
Wait,
have a
wait,
wonderful evening,
wait,
but
wait.
I
You
have to
can't
go
leave
back to
us
work.
now. No, you can't
I
leave
have
us
to go back
now.
to work. I have to. I have
Wait,
to.
just
I
a
have to.
little bit, just a little bit, because we can't come to the goalkeeper situation. Okay, skip about Edison. He is, according to Alfredo Padula, my friend on Manchester United target as well. But we're going to talk about the goalkeeping situation, Mark, as well, because, hey, Emi Martinez, the shitster, yes, no, 12 million worth
No,
on Transfermarkt.
never. Not even. I
Never.
don't even. I would never put at arm's length. And trust me, Mick, there's very good reasons for why I wouldn't do it. But I don't want to make it to be like that. I don't want to put that light out on Emi Martinez. I just really don't rate him. I think he's overrated. He was lucky to win the World Cup in any event, only because Messi was on his team and they wanted to give Messi a World Cup
But he's
trophy so he could
so much
retire as the
better than
best.
Onana. Come on, the flapper,
Yeah, but there's so
the
many
flipper.
goalkeepers better than Emi Martinez. Terstegen is on a free, and he is 10 times better than Emi Martinez ever
Yeah,
will be.
take to
You want shithousery, you want good hands, you want good with his feet. Terstegen is the guy, and he's on a free.
All right. Yes, no. Guys, get involved in the chat. Will you take Amy Martinez or would you take another one? So much better than Onana. God damn it. And we're also moving on. We are also linked to Vanya Milenkovic Savic from the Italian Verona, I think it is. 12 million. Guys, this guy is a massive shot stopper. He's one 2 meters and 4 centimeters, man. You know?
He's better. He is better than Emi Martinez as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Including the youngster from Roma, 25 years old, probably 25 million euros. And I'm talking about Mille Svilar. There's interesting players, but Martinez, I'm telling you guys, he makes so much mistakes. If he was that good, I'm telling you now, Villa would have finished second place, if not challenged for the first place trophy this season. The reason
Yeah,
why Villa
I'm
didn't challenge for the league is all because of Emi Martinez. So we could want him, but Villa wants to get rid of him. Just remember, they didn't challenge for the league this season when they should have, and
but why
that's
did
who
they
they're
want to
getting
get
rid
rid of
of
him?
first.
And that's the thing.
They
That's what
even
you should ask yourself. I mean, when he came up and clocked Rasmus Hoyle, no, I mean, say if we're going for because we know that it's like a burger. You need the base, the goalkeeper, and then you need the burger bun. In the middle, you have all the ingredients in place, right? But you need
yeah.
the killer to finish the dinner top. But you need a solid shot stopper goalkeeper, and I don't think I'm not so impressed with Amy Martinez. I'd rather go for Vanya Milinkovic Savic or the third goalkeeper that we are linked with, which is Lemons as well from
He is
Eintracht.
rated as one of the top young
Next
goalkeepers
goalkeeper.
under 23 in Europe.
Mm.
So I don't know, guys. For me, if we do all this in front and we put in a strong strike force, I think we could work with a young goalkeeper. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not too stressed about that department. I would just get rid of Onana. I wouldn't mind seeing Bayern there even move to the number one and get a
Yeah.
young guy to come in
Listen.
because honestly, we didn't really give
Okay.
on Bayern there enough run of games. That's just my
Yeah, another
opinion.
one. Oblak is 1 year left too, so Oblak is one that I go for as well. Listen, there was a comment here below. If you want shithouser in the tunnel that will scare the shit out of you, this is definitely Milinkovic Savic. Like, what a monster! Like, you wouldn't fuck with that
Hey.
guy.
Terstegen is our next one, guys. I'm telling you, man, them now. Terstegen is the kind of guy, he
He's
has that
good.
kind of look that kills.
Yeah,
I gotta
because
go.
Joan Garcia is going to Barcelona for some reason. So Ter Stegen, he said he will stay, but we will see. Anyway, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be fantastic and brutal. Mark, any last words before you die?
Yeah, I
No
hope you
words.
guys have an enjoyable weekend. Hopefully, we'll see you guys on another Mick and Mark stream tomorrow. If you have the time, tune in. If not, if we are doing it Sunday, we will be there. Don't forget to smash the likes for Mick. Guys, hope you have a wonderful evening from me. It was a pleasure to see you all again, and I missed you guys. Mick, I catch you later.
Love you. Thank you for coming in, guys. Thank you. This has been Mark coming in, having his say. And guys, let us know as per usual. We will be more frequently live during this transfer window as it's 4 days open till it closes again, and that is the World Cup football. Let me know in the comment section below what did you think about this stream, everything that we talked about, the possibility of Gyokeres coming already in the background, agreeing personal terms. Do you think that's going to be a firecracker? Do you think that's going to be a statement signing for a already battered Ineos? Yeah, I certainly believe, but it all comes down to finances at the end of the day. Sell to buy, definitely. Who will be sold first? Looks like Garnacho, advanced talks happening. It looks like Rashford will go probably to Barcelona. There's a lot of players that could be sold that could generate the money with homegrown talent. Guys, thank you for watching. Please have a lovely Friday afternoon. Thank you for staying with us. Cheers, ping back your ears. It's Friday. Relax and enjoy. And we should be back to the next time. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Peace. We out of here. Bye. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Release TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.